101.1 FM and AM 1160. And across the way from her is Hannah Harley and Dave Janusek as we talk about the arts here in Indiana. Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people, bringing us our conversation this morning. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure.
Good morning, Todd.
It's good to have you both with us here today as we talk about something that is really neat. And I don't know, Hannah, how long has it been since you've had the Artist in Residence program going?
October 2020.
Oh, yeah? It's only that long.
A year, yeah.
Yeah. Man, so this is big anniversary time.
Yeah.
But a part of that has been these beautiful murals that have popped up all around Indiana, and I guess there's more on the way, huh?
There are more on the way, yeah. This time last year, we brought in artists to start kind of a mural program in Indiana County, and now we're kind of realizing that with murals going up throughout the county, including Blairsville, Indiana, Smicksburg. And so that's been really fun. We have different artists, including some local artists this year, that we are having make murals. And this is part of the program from if you were 2 weeks ago, were the student mural that's realized behind the Artist Hand Gallery in that parking lot. And so it's been a really great journey to see, these kind of back alley walls transform.
Yeah, it's really neat because you might turn down a street that maybe you didn't even intend to be on. Because a lot of people try to take a shortcut here or there, and all of a sudden there's a piece of beautiful artwork right there in front of you.
Yeah, and
Really
it's
cool.
It's great because when you're walking around, all of a sudden now you're like walking around like you are in a museum. You've got these great artworks that you can make a part of your walking tour.
How about that? Indiana and Indiana County has become one big art museum.
Yeah. So this year I think we're looking at in Blairsville how many do you know how many murals? David?
We'd love to see 20. Right now I know we're at 7, and then it's funny because it's a very fluid process, the arts are. So it's Ramiro will come up to me and he'll show me a picture on his phone, like, we get a hold of this property owner. He said, yes, right, let's see if they're ready. And I think it's kind of the neat, art is fluid. And so right now it's 7, we're hoping for 10. We may see 15. If this weather holds out like it has been, paint the whole town.
Yeah, last year they were only intending to do 9. They ended up doing 14 while they were here. So it was one of those things that like sometimes you end up and you're like, all right, like these are the walls we have. And by the end of it, you have a whole different set of walls and, you've got all sorts of things. It's kind of, you're flying by the seat of your pants, I think, is a good way to put it. But it's really fun to see like where the inspiration takes them.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking Indiana. We're talking Blairsville. Are there other communities?
I know there's one.
Will there be?
There's one in Smicksburg already that was painted on Monday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a bird.
Take the trip down through there.
Right. Well, the Potter's Tour is coming up, so
yeah,
I think it's on one of the Pottery Studio buildings. So, and then it's highly concentrated in Blairsville, and the idea is year after year we'll go to different communities within Indiana County and still sprinkle them throughout the county, but kind of concentrate. So right now there's a concentration in Blairsville. So if you're driving through Blairsville, you can see artists painting. Anytime there's light, they're kind of painting. So
Dave, what are you hearing?
Great positive things. I just heard something very positive that you just said. And you said, I think I'll drive down there and look at that mural. And that's, I don't want to put, the art is art, but I don't want to put the commerce end into it. But that's a lot of what it is. It's, hey, let's go check out those murals in Blairsville and Smicksburg in Indiana. Hey, I drove down this alley. But to answer your question, it makes you feel good being on the street for one day with the artist. The positive feedback, people coming up and saying, hey, people stopping, getting out of their cars, you know what I mean? Talking to the artist. So it's kind of cool. You mentioned that, Indiana could be an art museum, but it's a really cool art museum because you can eat in this art museum, you can drink in this art museum, you can talk to the artists in these art museum. So we're hearing very, very positive things. It's interesting because we've got people coming out of their houses and saying, hey, when you're done there, what about my house? And we're like, not on the list this year. So it really, I know this is a very overused cliche, but it really is win, 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 win. In the first day on the street with these guys, not one negative, not one like, what are you doing making that building look better?
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? Get out of my yard. But we're really seeing positive things. The community has come out. The artists need fed. We've got a lot of community members. I want to do a quick thank you. Dan Kelly, Linda Gwynn, Joy Fairbanks, Greg and Carol Perchetti, Judy and Bill McAtee, Margie Ward, Chef Jimmy Rickard, Patrice Harley, I think you might know her, and Laura Vossen. So, but we still need more food. But that's the positive end. When somebody will give you something to eat, that's pretty positive. It's
no more starving artists. Is this what we're
hopefully
saying?
not. I don't
Not
think
in Indiana
Blairsville.
County. Indiana County, I mean, last year they showed up with, pizzas and homemade food and artwork and poems that they made as a response to the murals. And it was really moving for the artists who have often painted in large metropolitan areas like New York City or Philadelphia or LA. And then when they come here, it's like everyone's like, hey, like, welcome your temporary neighbor. We're glad you're here. It's really, really a special experience.
Well, hopefully we can get some of the artists in to visit with us here in Indiana in the morning again.
They would love it.
That'd be great. Introduce us by proxy to these artists, Anna.
So you can see all of this information on our Facebook and our website on who our artists are. We are with Dripped on the Road, who we worked with last year. And just by the way, October 9th, this Saturday at 8 p.m., there is a film premiere of Small Town Big Canvas, an Indiana PA story. And that is talking about the murals from last year. It's been through several festivals in New York City, Bethlehem, different places. And so you can go see that. That will be behind 550 Philadelphia Street in the parking lot there. It's a BYO chair.
There you go.
And then let me tell you who we have coming. So we have here. So we have Aerosol Kingdom, who's also known as Justin Suarez. He's from Rochester, New York, and he does a lot of like nature scenes, like birds. He really loves birds. So
Elk saw an elk.
An elk. Yep. We have we have Souls, who's from New York City, and he's doing a lettering mural that says Blairsville in downtown Blairsville. Lena Mack, who's doing a couple murals as well. We have Hannah Bear and Evan Lovett, who will be starting next week as part of our local and regional artists plan. And Sabrina Dorsonville, who's also here doing murals. And so we're really excited. They're all really talented artists that we are just thrilled are going to be here in Indiana and local artists too, that we're just absolutely thrilled. It's really exciting, and they're great people. If you get a chance to visit them in Blairsville, say hi. They had so many stories in just the 2 days they've been painting in Blairsville. When I talked to them last night, just telling me about the people they've met and the experiences they're having, and it's really wonderful to see people enter into communities and have this kind of like immediate love for a place, which is really great.
It's kind of interesting and fascinating, really, when you understand that these are folks who don't have the kind of experience that you find in Indiana County, in their home communities, wherever they might be. A lot of them are New York-based artists, maybe even all of them. But to find that sort of interaction, that almost becomes a little bit of an expression of art as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and I think that for me is the magic of it, is you have it's a great connector, the way art is done, and especially public art, because you get someone walking out of the Market Street Pastry who now gets to talk to an artist who's maybe from New York, or one of our local artists who they're seeing in a different capacity. And so you get to have this great kind of fusion of people talking about everything from, they've had really deep conversations to talking about the weather. And I think that it adds so much to life. And I think that's the real beauty of it.
Yeah. It flashed into my brain that somebody was doing a mural in Smicksburg, and an Amishman went by in a buggy and probably brought his whole world to a crashing halt. Because had never experienced something like that, and probably never will again.
Until we bring more murals to Smicksburg,
there you go. Until that happens again. All right. So it's wonderful things. Now, Dave mentioned, and you have as well, Hannah, that here in Indiana County, there's a way that people can get on board with this and help, and probably a number of ways. So if somebody wants to become involved, what should they do?
If you go to our website, there's quite a few different ways that you can get involved. Everything from food for the artist. So we have different days that have lunch or dinner, or if you want to bring breakfast or coffee, or if you want to buy some beer or wine from one of our local places, that would be welcome too. Yeah.
There.
But and you can get on our mailing list, and we also are still looking for walls. So this is partly funded through a Pennsylvania Council for the Arts grant that the county received this year. And so this is really exciting, but it also means that we get to continue to do this. So we need more walls, and walls on put your wall in for this year and hope that maybe next year or the year after, because it's a 5-year grant. So we need, walls, food, of course, financial resources to make it all happen. And you can find all of that information on our website, creativespacescollective.com. And you're welcome to join too. We have a meeting tonight at 6 p.m. that we do through Zoom, so that if you're based anywhere in the county, you don't have to worry too much about getting to a certain location.
CreativeSpacesCollective.com.
Yep, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook as well, with all sorts of information on ways you can help.
Wonderful, wonderful. And as I said, we'll try to get some folks in here and visit with us maybe next week, as early as next week. You never know.
Yeah, next week would be great.
All right, we can probably make that happen. All right, Hannah, Harley, thank you so much for coming in.
You.
Dave?
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. How's the pig doing?
At last check, still doing well.
That's good to know.
I'm resting for next year.
It's good to know. We don't want to know the story of the pig any more than we already know.
Thank you.
It's the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. Just about 20